All right, so I've been driving the truck here a little bit more, frankly, a lot more often than I would have normally if I would have kept my Mercedes or had the Genesis here, or just found a different car that I could daily drive. But I'll listen to the Hemi. And frankly, this is one of the reasons here why this is actually such a good daily driver. And you guys know I have the 300. It's in the garage right now, or just, in my garage right now. I don't frankly drive it too often. A, because of the weather, but B, because it's a modern classic. And I want to keep the miles down in case I go to sell it or whatever. I'm not sure yet. But man, I've just ever since I totaled the Genesis, I've been driving this more often. And I was driving the Mercedes for a little while, 3 weeks or 2 weeks worth before I sold it. I did have it since Christmas, but man, I am just kind of almost basically enjoying driving this truck more as a daily driver than a car or an SUV, depending on what SUV I had. I guess if I had a Durango or a Jeep SRT, that would be a lot more fun daily driver, but I wouldn't be daily driving those vehicles. But as a daily driver, and you let the miles rack up like I do plan to do with this truck, and I do plan to keep it for, right around that 120,000 mile mark, I really enjoy this. And a lot of it has to do with A, the sound. I've got a Gibson exhaust on it, and B, the looks, and C, the comfort, and D, the technology. I've got heated, cooled seats, basically all the options on this Laramie that you could option back in 2019. Lane keeping assist, adaptive cruise, all of that shit. And frankly, I'm liking it a lot. And to tell you the truth, I may continue to daily drive this. It's, there's nothing sporty about it by any means, but it's a truck. It's got independent four-corner suspension with air suspension. So the ride is actually, beautiful sunrise. The ride is actually quite compliant under, load or spirited driving, I guess you could say, with a truck. And that brings me back to the exhaust engine sound. This truck, it's got 400 horsepower from the factory and 420 foot-pound torque from the factory. I have a cold air intake and exhaust on it, so that is supposedly supposed to push it up. So I'm assuming that this is right around 425, and maybe we'll say 450. So it is a little bit faster than stock, although it's a 6,000 pound beast. So there's no speed when it comes to this truck, unless you're going to basically, put a 6.2 liter supercharged Hellcat engine in it. But that's what makes it so fun. You can have this truck with this 8-speed higher up in the rev range, 3,000 plus, and that 3,000 to 5,000 range, and it's quite spirited, and you're not speeding by any means. And that's another reason why I like the Durango, the RT Tow and Go. It's got all the SRT packages on it except for the engine, and you can rev that car out and have a whole hell of a lot of fun in it and not be going illegal speeds like that quick. And that's one problem I have with the SRT, my 300 SRT, is that, it's so damn fast. And that's the problem I had with the Mercedes. And that's also the problem I had with the Genesis. Now, the Genesis, I did top out. I had it go, I think it's limited to 155, and I got it up to about 148 once. But that was legally done in a legal area. But I do have to say, those cars you can't rev up, get it up higher in the rev range without being going, highly illegal speeds, 100 miles an hour or whatever. This car or anything else with the 5.7 Hemi, you can get it in the, higher in the rev range and not be going, 100 miles an hour. I mean, hell, this fucking truck only tops out at a 104. So you can't really be going illegal speeds anyway. But yeah, so I'm just truly appreciating this as a daily driver. And yeah, these bumps are rough and everything, and that has to do with the BF Goodrich TAKO2s I got on it. But man, what a beautiful daily driver. And it's a badass looking truck too. Badass. And that's why I like it. Anything that I drive has to be badass. And this truck definitely is. But I have a lot of respect for, the people that actually buy these Chrysler vehicles with the 5.7 Hemi and either do, throw an exhaust and a cold air on it, or it just comes with that from the factory, like the RT Tow and Go or some Charger Challenger variants, because you can have a hell of a lot of fun. You're only losing maybe about a second in the 0 to 60 time, and you're not going to roast your tires as fast, and you can get that higher in the rev range and, really have some fun with it. And the only shitty thing about the 5.7 is that you're revving maybe to, I think red line is 50, I want to say 5,700, 58, I don't know off the top of my head. The 6.1 is a little bit higher at 62. So that's one thing about the Hemis, you just don't get a high, you can't, rev it up to 7,000 or 8,000. But that's okay. Yeah, I'm very impressed with this truck as a daily driver. It's very clean for the mileage. I've had it for over 20,000 miles now in almost 2 years. So I put them on, I put on about 12,000 a year with the truck. And I very much enjoy it. There's some car ruiners right there, as what I like to call them. But, as a daily driver, as long as you... another truck ruiner. As a daily driver, as long as you, throw an exhaust on your truck, that's the absolutely first thing you have to do is put a MagnaFlow on. I had a MagnaFlow on my old truck, my Night Edition, or I have this Gibson on right now, and this Gibson sounds a lot like the SRT exhaust on the Durango, actually. And I have to say I thoroughly enjoy it, and it's very loud. I wouldn't say very loud. I have a buddy who has a Flowmaster Outlaw, and that's definitely louder than this, but this has a more refined sound and, shit that we all like, instead of that loud, just obnoxious sound. But this is very nice, and I'm very happy to have it as a daily driver right now. As the weather gets better, I am going to definitely, drive the 300 a little bit more. Want to keep my miles down on that, though. Excuse me. 5,000 or less per year is the, the typical. But yeah, there we go. Pulling in. Almost looks like a turkey out there. I don't think it is. I think it's a rock. But anyway, back on the point here. The Ram 1500 as a daily driver, yeah, it's a winner. It's a winner. There's something about driving a big, burly truck with a nice-ass exhaust on it. And, you're king of the road. You absolutely know you're king of the road when you drive this son of a bitch. And that's why I like it a lot. This is the ultimate daily driver in terms of utilitarian purpose. The Ram 1500.